Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. Donald Trump, I have a warning for you. And it's not a warning where some people make these warnings where they're, fire and thunder and they're swinging their fists and everything else. It's not that type of warning. Anything that you do to Jeff Sessions, I don't like Jeff Sessions. I think Jeff Sessions is a fucking asshole. I think he's a good old boy from the good old days, or for the bad old days for me and my kind. But you can't touch him. You can't touch him. You limped into the White House without the support of the Republican Party and without the support, of course, of the Democratic Party, and with a minor support base within the public. You are the weakest president that we've ever had. So much so that these guys can openly defy you. The military right now is defying your tweet to segregate the military. You have an investigation that's going into a Russia probe. What do you thought? That investigation was good or not is kind of besides the point. What do you think it's fair or not that the investigation opens into your finances? Personally, I think that's where the report should go. I think the Russia thing is bogus. The finances thing, oh yeah, I want to see those taxes. They need to look into those taxes. If you're going to be president of the United States, people need to see what you're doing in your business dealings. I'm okay with that. Here's the catch. You fired James Comey. Now, you got mad when Jeff Sessions took over and recused himself. Jeff Sessions should have recused himself because you yourself picked him to be the Attorney General. If you're going to have any kind of independent investigation, you need that investigation to be somewhat independent. And it looks bad when the president is making determination on who's going to investigate the president. If you touch Jeff Sessions, you will be impeached. You will be impeached. And the Republican Party will do it. Now, I made this statement, I think it was a few days ago. Now, this comes out in the Washington Post. And yes, I know the Washington Post is a bit of a rag. And yes, I know to some degree they're trying to create a narrative. I actually agree with this narrative. Jeff Sessions has the support of the people that he's been with in the Senate. He's friends with them. He has their support. He's a right-winger's right-winger. He's untouchable. You've already fired the FBI chief before. That kicked up a lot of dust. If you fire the guy again with this idea of getting rid of the investigation, you will be impeached. They would love to have Mike Pence in that slot. Mike Pence will fit into that slot like a quarter going into a video game. They don't want you there. Pence is the guy they want to work with. You're going to find one obstruction after the next with you being in that office. But the only way you can be in that office is if you let them do that particular investigation. Your best bet is to focus this thing on the Russian hack and to get across that narrative was bogus. You blow a hole in their story. You create and undermine their narrative. Your way of doing this is not necessarily to attack Jeff Sessions and try to get him out. Your goal is to attack the evidence that's against you. Calling it fake news is not enough. It's not enough. You're on the bully pulpit. Not Twitter. You're on the bully pulpit. Your problem is you've lied so much that you don't necessarily have people to believe anything that comes out of your mouth. You have 20% of the population that will believe anything you say. The rest is skeptical. You need to focus your attention on the hacks. Mainly the fact that they were leaks. People sent you the memorandum saying, hey, this wasn't a hack. Russia didn't hack anybody. This was a leak. That's your path. Jeff Sessions, I am placing my bet right now in this particular video that if you fire Jeff Sessions, you will be impeached. And the Republican Party will fall in line to do so. I guarantee it. Senate Republicans have tolerated Trump's controversies. His treatment of Sessions is different. Senator John Cornyn courts attorney Jeff Sessions as one of his best friends in Washington, and their wives are even closer, making the couple's regular double date pairs or partners. We occasionally get together to break bread, Senator Whip said Wednesday. One of those double dates came recently enough that Cornyn and Sessions could not avoid the elephant in the room. President Trump's public taunting of his attorney general in a manner that suggests he wants Sessions to resign. We didn't talk in great detail about this, but obviously it's in the news, Cornyn said, reiterating his strong support for Sessions staying in the office. Cornyn is not alone in rallying to the defense of Sessions, who, despite sometimes having waged lonely battles as one of the chamber's most staunch conservatives, still had friends among Senate Republicans. Most have issued statements of support, and several are making private calls to reassure Sessions that they are behind him. I believe it. I totally believe it. But the tension over Trump's treatment of Sessions goes beyond senators defending a friend. Unlike any controversial move Trump has pondered in 6 months as president, Senate Republicans are sending preemptive signals that firing Attorney General or pressuring him to resign will be a terrible move. Some have warned high-level White House officials that it looks as though Trump was making the move solely to shut down the investigation of his campaign and the White House, now overseen by Special Counsel Robert Mueller, while making it clear that they agree with Sessions' decision to recuse himself from an investigation of Trump's campaign connection to Russia. Yeah, they're right. They're right. Replacing Sessions would be difficult, and the idea of Trump making a recess appointment during the planned 4-week break in August is foolhardy. Democrats can indefinitely stall a resolution to fully adjourn the Senate, having already forced minute-long periods to an even shorter breaks to prevent Trump from having authority to make temporary appointments while the Senate is away. Democrats may have vehemently opposed Sessions' nominations, but they have no intention of allowing Trump to fire him and name a new attorney general with a recess appointment. And frankly, Republicans do not seem to want to give Trump that power either. You have no support, dude. You have no support. Ultimately, you're in a situation where they're investigating you. And yes, the Russian investigation, the Russian hack thing is ridiculous. The investigation to your finances, no. And if that investigation is going to expand into your finances, then you may be in trouble. But you can't touch him. I don't like Sessions. I don't like you. But Sessions, at this point, is bulletproof. That's my political analysis. I don't think it can be touched. I'm reading this because I came up with this analysis before I read this article. And when I made the video the other day saying, yeah, dude, you can't touch Sessions. Well, I agree. So I'm going with this Washington Post one. I think Sessions deserves to be treated much more fairly. I mean, Jeff was there when no other senator was, said Orrin Hatch, the longest serving Republican in the Senate. Hatch spoke to Sessions last Thursday to declare his support, a message he conveyed to the White House officials. And Hatch is trying to set up a call with Trump to deliver the same message. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made it clear in a brief interview Wednesday that his backing of Sessions has gone up the chain of command. Asked if he told Trump his support, McConnell smiled. I've conveyed that to the public and to others, he said. The support for Sessions run deep across the Republican Party. Former Senator Jim DeMint of South Carolina, conservative renegade who often clashed with McConnell, praised her Attorney General Wednesday during a visit to the Capitol. One of the best guys I ever worked with, he said. I hope he and the president can work it out. The question, however, is how will the Senate Republicans respond if Trump does force their friend out of the Justice Department, a move that might be followed by firing Mueller, setting off another crisis as big as the last ouster of James Comey? Would the ramifications be beyond just expressing dismay? I would say so. I would say so. I would say that would cause immense problems. I would say that they would give them just cause to try to go after Trump for doing so, because it would look like he's guilty. It would look like he's guilty of sin. Not of the Russia thing. I don't think he thinks there's anything to do with the Russia thing. I think his concern is his finances. I think if you dig into those finances, you're going to find some nasty stuff there. That's where I think the concern is. His issue with Mueller in regards to the investigation, he feels it's somewhat of a witch hunt. To some degree, it is somewhat of a witch hunt. And it doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing there. It doesn't mean there's nothing there. And yes, you've stepped into politics. They are going to have investigations against you. Ask Hillary Clinton. They had one investigation against her after the next. Many of those were bogus. The last one was not. She got off on all of them. You may not. You may not. She had the support of the entire Democratic Party. You have zero. You have zero. And if you go and make the attempt to get rid of Sessions, all hell will break loose. All hell will break loose. In two ways, by the way. It breaks loose in a sense of they're trying to remove a president. And I got to be honest. I don't like this idea of them trying to impeach a president on bogus stuff. But trying to stop an investigation is not bogus. That changes my opinion completely. It's one thing if you find Comey because, you don't necessarily like Comey. It's another thing if you're firing these guys because you don't necessarily want the investigation to go forward. That's problematic. That is immensely problematic. So yeah, if they get to the point where he's kicking out Sessions because he wants to fire Mueller, then yes, Trump should be impeached over that. Or at the very least, there should be some severe ramifications for what takes place in that regard. That is immensely problematic if a president is trying to do that. And yes, the Senate Republicans, the House Republicans, the Democrats, we need to stand up and do something to put that president in its place. That's all I'm saying. Jeff Sessions is bulletproof. Touch Jeff Sessions at your peril. And this is not because I have any love for Jeff Sessions. This is not because I have any love for you. This is somewhat political analysis in regards to how I think Republicans are going to view this. You have extraordinarily weak support in the public. But you do have 20% of the people that will lose their shit. Meaning, yes, there will be ramifications in politics. But there will also be ramifications in the public. Those ramifications, I have no idea what those look like. I have no idea what those look like. I don't even know what they look like in politics, to be honest. I have a hard time believing that the Republicans are going to stand by and let you get rid of Jeff Sessions, though. So, you can bitch and moan on Twitter all you want. The moment that you take the step to try to tell Jeff Sessions to resign is the moment that those guys have an opportunity to go after you and put Mike Pence in the slot that they prefer Mike Pence to be in. So, I'll leave it at that. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, feel free to share, rate, subscribe, and you can always support the work through PayPal or Patreon. Thank you.